Hey guys, welcome to another review. In this review, I'm going to be reviewing...
Hey, wait, you can review me now. Look, I'm a custom.
Just give up on it, Stumpy. In this review, I'm going to be reviewing my Constable Rick Grimes custom. Now, I actually did this one a long time ago, so I can't, show you the process or anything, because I actually created him before I was doing YouTube videos. And I just never got around to reviewing him, except for now I'm ready. And he's not actually as bad as I thought. As I was making more customs and reviewing them, I thought he's not all that great, but he's got the basic gist. So yeah, I made this guy, and then when they were making the Constable Michonne figure, I was like, well, maybe I'll get her to put with this guy. But then, I saw what she looks like, and well, I'll show you an image of her. So as you can tell, it's not that good, but I'm not going to pick her up. But I've still got this Rick here to, show off. And I really wish that they did make an actual Rick Grimes Constable figure before they canned the line, but yeah, at least I've got this custom. And to start out, let's take a look at the paint apps, I guess, because that's the main customization point. There's his face. It's actually not that bad. It's a very clean paint. It's just, I don't know, I always thought it was a bit shiny. Yeah, I can't tell. And then I think Rick in the show had longer hair in the back, but I did not add that just because. Yeah, but I just liked this so much because it was Rick returning to his cop outfit and all. He looked so cool, so I decided I'm making a custom of that, and then turns out he only wore that for 2 episodes? Oh well. I added his tie here, and this base figure is, of course, Gareth from Series 7. That Gareth figure works great for customs. I've used him quite a few times. You'll see as I progress through showing off my customs how many times I've used him. And on the side here, I added a little bit of the emblem that he has there, but it's not super detailed, because when I was painting these, I used toothpicks instead of fine tip paintbrushes or anything, so not so great. And that's just all acrylic paints there and here and here. Then for his face, it's a mix of acrylic and Citadel paint. So I used Ungor Flesh, which is something that I've had a long time, and this is a really good paint color, because it's got the basic flesh tone, and then you just have to lighten it up, which I used Toasted Marshmallow, which actually sounds more edible than something you would paint with, but whatever. And that acrylic paint is really cheap at Walmart. Then I just used black paint for his hair, and I did add a little bit of sculpt on his hair where it's a little added poof on the top, as you can see. And I just really liked that look more. I thought it made him look a lot less like the Series 4 Rick and a little bit more like Rick in the Season 5. I suppose that was just before the finale, a couple of episodes before. Yeah, and then I actually sculpted these pockets here and painted them, but you can't really see it because the jacket's too big. And when I was sculpting those, I didn't know that the jacket would cover them up, but whatever. He's got the tie painted on there and sculpted, and it comes all the way down to here, which you can see is a separate piece. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. And then for the pants, it is still Gareth's pants. I just painted them to look like his black jeans. And then at the feet, I did add the cowboy boots that Rick always has. They look a bit long, but whatever. At least he's got the boots. These boots are from a Series 2 Rick, and this head is from a Series 4 Rick. And then the body, of course, is Gareth. Not bad. And then the hand here is actually a different hand than from Gareth. I used Dwight's hand because it's got a nice trigger finger. And I've scrapped all my Dwights to use for customs and stuff, so yeah. And then I believe he had a 6-shooter, but I don't really have a 6-shooter pistol to show off, so there's a Beretta. Yeah. His accessory is basically just that. And then there's a bit of a crack on the back of his jacket, just because when taking off the Gareth's jacket, it kind of stresses this little back part here and causes it to split a little bit, but it's not that noticeable or not that much of a problem. And yeah, I just think basically this actually doesn't look too bad. So now let's go into articulation. For articulation, his arm at the shoulder can do a full 360 spin, then it can move up to not even close to a right angle, and then it can go above his head like that much, goes at a bit of an angle. Then at the shoulder, he does a full 360 spin, and he can move back this much, and then up to almost a 90-degree angle, and the reason for that is I had to cut down some of the Gareth's, like the jacket part here, it went down over the articulation point, and that caused an inhibition when trying to bend it. So I just carved some of that off, and now he fits perfectly. Okay, and now for the wrist, it does full 360 spin, and then it can also move inside of there a bit, but it's a little hard to articulate that. Then he can do the dice roll position and the scratching in a wall, which is exactly the same on the other arm in pretty much every way. And then his arm doesn't quite bend as much on this side. And now at his waist, there's no articulation just because that would kind of be a problem for the tie. And then at the legs, he can kick forward enough, and on the other side, yeah, a fair amount. Let's see if I can get him in a car. Yeah, he can basically look like he could drive. A little bit of a back arch there, but not a problem. Okay, so that's good leg articulation there. Then at the side, he can kick out like he's Johnny Cage. Look at that. That's very nice. Except for Rick's never done a split in his life. And then at the knee, it does a full 360 spin. And of course, you can see the paint doesn't come off while doing that. And then it can bend to almost a 90-degree angle on both sides. Then at the feet, there is no articulation just because to get it on there, I had to glue it into position, but he still is able to pose on the floor and all, despite that. So not a problem. And then I didn't mention the head, so the head can do a full 360, and it can look up a ridiculous amount, and it can look down. You gotta make sure the ball joint's in there properly. And then it can look down quite a bit. So actually, it's got a lot more head articulation than I thought, and then it's got head pivot too. Got a lot of articulation there. Yeah, that's a tight fit actually. Okay, now some size comparisons. Here he is next to Series 2 Rick Grimes. Here he is next to Series 6 Rick Grimes. Here's Rick next to Series 7 Deputy Rick Grimes. And here he is next to Series 8 Rick Grimes. Finally, here he is next to a horrified Dale.